Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffrey Bershoff from Avanti Destinations, and welcome to Avanti 101, how to personalize your clients' vacations with Avanti. We're going to cover a lot today, more of an introduction to Avanti, some of our policies and procedures, some of the product as far as the destinations are concerned, and I'm also going to cover a little bit with regard to the website. So we have a wonderful picture here in Venice on the top left, Shanghai from the Bund side, looking over the river at the Pudong. Wonderful down the bottom left, Torres del Paine, the lake there. And then on the bottom right, the wonderful image of Tikal in Guatemala. So we're going to get right into it. So what is independent travel, also known as FIT in the industry? As far as Avanti is concerned, we're really about customizing your itineraries. One of the things that we often say, which is completely true, is no two bookings are the same. Everyone has a different spin on it, or different themes, take different connections. We book with preferred airlines, lots of properties, and we'll get more into that as we go through this. One of the key things about what we're able to do for your independent travelers is really connecting everything seamlessly. And of course, providing your clients the ability to travel at leisure, as well as to experience the local culture up close and personal. So different types of people who travel with Avanti through travel agents are, many of them are couples. We do small groups of friends, a fair amount, and multi-generational travel. These are people who really do want to have that authentic travel experience. The ages are probably about 50% boomers, 25% Gen X, and 25% millennials. We do, a fair amount of matures as well. But the core, of course, is baby boomers because they have a lot more time and disposable income. And we focus on 3, 4-star, and 5-star properties. In Asia, and I'll talk a little bit about that, we're more focused on 4 and 5-star properties. Typically, people who are traveling with Avanti are traveling to 2, 3 cities and countries, and the average is 8 to 12. Certainly, pre and post cruise, as well as a 3-week vacation, certainly is done by us. But that's the core of what we're doing. 5 reasons to pick Avanti. I already talked about independent vacations. Our accommodations, they are handpicked. They're personally selected by our staff and executive team, as well as our local partners. And we focus on boutique properties. We have, quaint inns, we have villas in Italy, chateaus in France, lots of eco resorts in Central America, jungle lodges in parts of South America. Our product team is really focused on making sure that you've got a lot of options for your clients. Food and wine, cultural and historic. We do a lot of private drivers and guides. We also have a couple of options for semi-private, which basically is Avanti only customers or very small groups, less than 16. And then a lot of off-the-beaten-path sightseeing. The folks in our reservations department are travel consultants. They are skilled and experienced. We send them out to the destination to experience it firsthand. They are well trained. We have people come in all the time to train them, not only about the destination, but also about the product. They work with our product team as well to learn about it. And then, of course, while your clients are traveling, we've got folks on the ground, our local partners, who can make sure that they're taken care of. Things happen while people travel. The Avanti Advantage. So $150 per person on a quote turns it into a booking, and we hold space in the air. We don't ticket the air, and I'll get more into that here later on. until the air is paid for. We start the confirmation process for all the land services. We work on special requests, and then of course you have access to our rail specialists. We do expect full payment due in 60 days. And we also provide a travel protection, and I'll get into that in more detail later on. Deluxe travel documents. This is what we ship out to you, or we will ship them directly to your clients, depending on your choice. You got to let us know if you want them shipped directly to your clients, however. So you can either give us a call, you can or email us, and you can of course visit our website 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can create a saved itinerary online with us if you don't have passport names as well. Very important. We do require passport names in order to create a quote in our reservations department, and that's either via email or on the phones. Our tour contracted airfares, including business class, first class as well. You get commissions on those. Published is non-commissionable, but our contracted airfares are. We rental cars, accommodation, sightseeing, small escorted groups. We do cruises. The cruises are typically just small ship cruises, whether they be out of Croatia through the Dalmatian coast, Patagonia, the Galapagos. We do some river cruising as well, options in Asia. And then, of course, European rail. We do also do rail in Japan and a little bit in China. Commissions are paid the following Wednesday after North American departure date. You can add a travel agent fee up to 15% of the gross, and TripMate is our travel protection, and that commission protects your commission once bookings are paid in full and canceled in full. The premium must be paid. The travel protection premium must be paid during the booking process, during deposit. So the regions focused on Europe, Central South America, and Asia. Mentioned a little bit before, we are your one-stop travel source. We can do, river cruises, as I mentioned, pre and post cruise, very important, whether it be one night or an extension from, Barcelona or one of the major ports. We also do shore excursions in Asia, throughout Asia. So not only the major ports where your clients are starting their cruise or ending their cruise, but also along the way. I mentioned connecting the dots. We specialize in multi-city, multi-country itineraries, putting them all together, making sure that it's a seamless vacation for your clients. Our guides and our transfers are very personable, very knowledgeable, and are happy to help your customers along the way. We, as I mentioned, flights, car rentals, train travel, rail, private transfer, some shared transfers in certain places, certainly the major cities in Europe as well as Central and South America, but predominantly they're private services. And of course, you also get our help from our travel consultants when you give us a call or email or online. We do have a team, web support team, who reviews every booking to make sure that things make sense and nothing's wrong. Europe, we've got a whole bunch of destinations here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what we added for 2017 going into 2018. The hotspots certainly are Scandinavia. Iceland is huge. The UK is doing really well. Greece is booming. And interestingly enough, Poland is getting a lot more attention, as well as Spain. And France has bounced back. Hotels in Europe. These are all 4-star and 5-star properties that we're looking at here. The Royal Horse Guards, very well located property. the Raphael, beautiful view there on the patio of the Eiffel Tower. The Palace, a classic property, and then Regina Baglioni is a really well located property and just gorgeous inside and out. The Mark Hotel in Prague is probably one of our best-selling properties in Prague. The Brieko Palace in Dubrovnik is hot for us. You can see the Grand Britannia there, and the Bayerischer in Munich, very well located, upper end property that most of our five-star travelers absolutely love when they visit Munich. So we do a lot of exclusive experiences. I mentioned private transfers, but we do a lot of private sightseeing tours as well that really highlight the region. And we're focused on giving your clients the ability to do something really special, and also give them time to relax and enjoy themselves on their own. I think just want to kind of highlight the Meet the Heidelbergers. This is probably one of the most popular local options that we have, certainly in Heidelberg. But these is really a fantastic couple. They welcome Avanti clients into their homes, and they're just absolutely fantastic folks, and it's a really good experience. That dinner on a private boat in Sorrento is going out of Sorrento onto a private boat and having dinner. Simple enough, with local, and giving you some some interesting information as far as the history, and as well as just having a good time. On the bottom, there's a mixture of things. We have what we call regional highlights, as well as recommended vacations. The first two there are regional highlights. So if your clients are in Parma, they can kind of add this package, and it's really focused on the food and the cheese, particularly Parmesan Reggiano, as well as the wonderful, and I'm just totally blanking on the meat at the moment. Prosciutto, there we go. It comes out eventually. Bordeaux, beautiful region of France. It's a great city in and of itself, but getting your clients out into two different regions of the Bordeaux wine area, and really letting them experience those cab-based wines, as well as the Merlot-based wines in the region. And then Spanish Castle Road and Sense of Croatia are recommended vacations. They're more just in the lens. So there's food options within Spanish Castle Road, but it's really focused on the castles, staying in some of the Paradors. And then Sense of Croatia is a really personalized tour of Croatia, starting in Zagreb, going over to Styria, down to Split along the Dalmatian coast, as well as Plitvice Lakes, and then also ending up in Dubrovnik. I mentioned before Europe by rail, some of the major trains that we offer, but down at the bottom are some of the scenic trains. And Norway, in a nutshell, is a great way to go from Oslo to Bergen with a stop in Flåm. And then there's several scenic trains in Switzerland that we're able to provide. We have a couple of different packages as well, regional highlights, if you will, that include the trains. But certainly the Glacier Express is one of the highlights of taking a train in Switzerland. And then the Grand Hibernian in Ireland. This is a Belmont product, and it's a wonderful product, and going from Dublin up to Glasgow overnight. And there's a lot more scenic train options. We even have one in Peru, a new Belmont product as well. That's really fantastic. So we added Malta and Slovenia. A lot more hotels, even more coming into 2018. We have 29 recommended vacations in 14 different countries. As you can see, we are focused on the food. It's probably the easiest way to access culture while your clients are traveling. And we do offer some active vacations. I'm not going to get into too much detail with that today, but soft adventure, little micro moments, if you will, a half day or a full day are on the rise. And sometimes it's just one day out of a 12-day vacation. They just people are looking for the more soft adventure experience, and we're trying to focus on more and more on that. And we do some shore excursions as well, but not for the river cruising. This is just a wonderful recommended vacation. Focus on the gastronomy, as it says, France and Spain, pretty self-explanatory. But Paris, already talked a little bit about Bordeaux. San Sebastian, right over the border. It's in the Basque region, and so the Pictos or the tapas, and then going to Madrid. And this is typical of things that you can do with Avanti. Getting your clients from in 2 different countries, 4 different cities, connecting things with rail, and then also adding in these highlights. The Paris cooking class with the market visit, the tapas tour, going to Madrid taverns and markets walking tour, and then paella cooking class with lunch. And these are all things that you can add in all these different cities that we provide, usually in the major cities, but some of these regional highlights take your clients out into the countryside as well. Getting to Central America, we're going to just kind of, to a degree, combine Central and South America as we go through this presentation. But Belize here, I can spend a little bit more time since we don't have so many countries. And then we have Guatemala. A typical combination would be your clients going to Belize, flying into Belize City, going up to the Cayo district and San Ignacio. They can either take a day trip to Tikal or an overnight. So just crossing the border by land and going to Tikal. And then we have Guatemala and Guatemala City, the gateway, and Antigua, Copan, easy trip from Guatemala. It's another Maya ruins there, and then Roatan, Honduras and El Salvador. Honduras is basically Roatan and Copan, and Salvador is really typically people are combining El Salvador going up into Guatemala, and Nicaragua doing really well. Grenada and San Juan del Sur and Leon are fantastic. We actually just had a couple of folks from Avanti, including Harry, our president, going down to Nicaragua with some travel agents, and they had a wonderful time, even though there was a tropical storm. Something that our local partners are really good at. Things happen while people are traveling, and taking care of them and getting to the places that they need to get to, or offering alternatives is something that we do regularly. Costa Rica still doing very well. I'm going to show a little package there a little bit later on. And then Panama, whether it be Panama City or going along the canal or up in Bocas del Toro. We have wonderful new property in Bocas del Toro that has a beach as well. So South America, lots to see and do, a big continent. Probably the most popular combination, multi-city, multi-country, is Peru, with combining Machu Picchu and Ecuador with in the Galapagos. Of course, going to Cusco, spending some time in Quito, and then going out to Galapagos is number one. Easy enough to combine Colombia with Ecuador. And then combining Peru with Bolivia is very easy. And as you can see, the combination of Chile and Argentina is a natural, going from the top Atacama to Salta, Santiago, Central Valley, the wine region there, as well as Mendoza, and then all the way down into Patagonia, whether it be the Lake District in northern Patagonia, or Tierra del Fuego in southern Patagonia with Torres del Paine. And then going up into Brazil. Brazil's doing really good. We've got a new property in Manaus, which we're really happy about. It's a boutique property that is right across from the theater. Really wonderful option for your clients who do want to go out and experience the Amazon in Brazil. Of course, Rio is a wonderful destination. So up at the top here, you're looking at what we're offering as far as Central America, just a sampling of some of the properties. And Nariara in Costa Rica is extremely popular. The El Secreto, that's a ways away from San Pedro, but beautiful, it's definitely a romantic destination. Macul is in Nicaragua. It can be a combination. It can be either, they can be very romantic, or it can be great for families as well. And the Meridian in Panama City is a wonderful property and very well located. The Casa, this is now we're going into South America. Casa Cantina in Quito, 5-star, right on the plaza. Absolutely stunning property with a fantastic restaurant. The Libertador in the Sacred Valley. We typically will get your clients, fly them from Lima to Cusco, pick them up in Cusco, take them down into the Sacred Valley. It's lower than Cusco significantly. And so they can get climatized, spend a few days there before they go to Machu Picchu. Oasi and Torres del Paine, gorgeous property with fantastic views, right? And probably in Iguazu on the Brazil side, the Belmont is definitely the most compelling property there. Wonderful property and easy to get and see the falls right from the property. So exclusive experiences. In Rio, we have Copacabana beach sandcastle lessons, so your clients can learn how to make sandcastles. There's a whole, this is just a good sampling of some of the fun stuff your clients can do. So they can go scallop hunting from Nazca, and that's where the Nazca lines are. So they could have the flyover and see the lines, and then have a good time going scallop hunting. We have a chocolate class in Belize. We also have one in Nicaragua, as well as there's some chocolate options in Ecuador. And then a very popular option, and again, a locally hosted dinner. It's at a family's home. They're very inviting, and that's in Cartagena, Colombia. So down here at the bottom, these are all regional highlights. So going to an Ecuadorian farm in the highlands. Uruguay has a lot of great wine options, and this is just an option for your clients who are wanting to go to Uruguay. But also, a lot of people will just take day trips from Buenos Aires as well. And then I talked a little bit about combining the wine area in Chile with the wine area in Argentina, and these are two options, luxury options for your clients. I think that would be definitely for people who love food and wine, and Chilean and Argentine wine are fantastic. Okay, so just as an example of something that we're trying to do more and more of, and that includes a volunteer experience for your clients. The Sarapiquí is an area; it's a river as well, but your clients can volunteer at the Conservation Learning Center, as well as have some of the soft adventure options. And this is a wonderful property. I'm just going to show you a quick map because typically, your clients will fly into San Jose or Liberia, and then go to Arenal. Some may fly into San Jose and go up into Tortuguero, but this is an easy combination here. Or they could go up here to the Sarapiquí and then go to Arenal and La Fortuna. This is Arenal Lake here. Sometimes I like to show maps, helps people out a lot. So Flavors of Peru, this is just an example of how your clients could have a Peruvian vacation with the theme of food and culture. And I just want to make a quick plug for this Miss Manai agricultural community visit. These are farmers who live in a small village, and they have opened up their village, and they let people come and visit and kind of share their traditions and their culture, as well as their food. And it's a wonderful experience. Definitely something to add on, either for your clients. It's easier when you're in the Sacred Valley, but they certainly can do it from Cusco as well. So getting into Asia, a couple of years on board now. We added in 2017, for 2017 travel, we added 7 new destinations, 7 new countries. You'll notice that we have Dubai here. This is really an easy way to connect the East Coast to Southeast Asia, flying on Emirates. And I always like to talk about stopovers. Didn't really mention it when we were looking at Europe, but stopovers are really easy to do with our contracted fares. And your clients can spend a couple of nights in some of the major cities before they go on to another destination, and it doesn't add anything to the cost of the flight. I think we're going to get into a little bit more detail here as we go through this. Just some of the highlights as far as the properties, some of the exclusive experiences. Japan is huge. It's booming. They keep on growing more and more every year. I know that when my family and friends start going to places, it's really hot, and almost everybody is going to Japan. China's doing really well. We've got South Korea and Taiwan. You can do stopovers there, as well as getting your clients out of Seoul or Taipei and into the countryside. The Philippines, a wonderful destination. I think Manila is certainly the capital, but going in Palawan right here in El Nido is one of the more beautiful places in the world. The beaches are spectacular. There's private islands with properties. Getting into Vietnam, you can see that it's like Japan. It's a long country. The Hanoi all the way down to Ho Chi Minh, also known as Saigon. There's lots to see and do in the central region of Vietnam. Thailand is off the charts popular. I think that people typically are combining Bangkok, going up into the northern area of Thailand to Chiang Mai, and then ending their vacations in Phuket. But I always want to show how easy it is to get from Bangkok. See where that A is right here? That's right about where Siem Reap and Angkor Wat is. So flying from Bangkok to Angkor Wat is easy to do. So it's an easy combination. Going down into Malaysia, Bali is very popular, as well as Singapore. But we've got Indonesia and Malaysia on board now too. So as far as the properties are concerned, I've got a couple of boutique options here. But Asia, like some of South America, or a fair amount of South America, we don't have as many boutique properties as we do in Europe and in Central America. These are oftentimes large properties, chains, but we've got a few here. The Upper House in Hong Kong is definitely sweeping views of Hong Kong, as well as a boutique property. The Hotel de la Paix in Luang Prabang, screwed that one up. Luang Prabang is a wonderful boutique property. And then everything else is, we try to get it as spacious as possible. Some places are more spacious than others, certainly. But this is a good selection. The Mandarin and Ritz-Carltons and Sofitels are beautiful properties. Anatara down in Phuket in Thailand is really wonderful, especially if your clients want privacy. And so we highly recommend that. And then Le Méridien, we've got a couple of really good properties, boutique properties in Siem Reap, but Le Méridien is a fantastic property. So some exclusive experiences. This is just a few samplings here, but so I'm just going to, dumpling making classes in Shanghai. We also have that as well in Xi'an. We do a lot of options in certainly in Tokyo. You can make sushi. There's in Vietnam. There's going to a local's home and having dinner. If they're musicians, they'll put on a little show afterwards. And then this combinations down here at the bottom are just some options that we have for combining different areas of Southeast Asia, as well as for lack of a better term, Northern Asia, whether it be Japan, China, or Korea. Something to think about is that the combinations of combinations, the geographical locations of China and Japan really make it a travel for typically right along with Europe. So it's April through October, whereas Southeast Asia is pretty much all year round, much like Central and South America. Something to think about, though, is that there are great opportunities for your clients who are traveling, even to Europe, during the lesser traveled months. It's less busy. You get better rates as far as the properties are concerned. The flights are cheaper, the whole 9 yards. So just something to think about. It's a very different experience. But so this is just an example of one of our foodie vacations. We're adding it for 2018. It's bookable right now, Taste of Japan. And this is just bringing in a lot of the food options that we're looking at in Asia throughout Japan, just combining everything. So we recently did a What's New in Asia, and this was the one of the feature packages there. And I just have yet to post that webinar online, but I plan on doing that today. A little busy around here. So getting into some of the policies and procedures, something that we added a couple years ago, which is very important to think about, automatic rail updates. Now, rail in Europe is, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to book it. It's a challenge to make the right combinations and ticket it. So what we're able to do is we can give you a quote, essentially, of an estimate on what we think the cost is going to be. And as soon as the ticket is available, so we add the rail into your client's itineraries. And then once the rail is available, this is all an automated process. You get an email from us, and then you can click on that link there, make payment, and then we ticket the rail. So it's completely automated. You don't have to contact us and so forth and so on. Certainly, if you're booking, 4 months in advance and your clients are connecting London and Paris, we can ticket the Eurostar right then and there. But some destinations, most notably Spain, it's very close in as far as when rail is ticketed. So just something to think about. And then a lot of the point-to-point, the rail segments are commissionable up to 5%. More on rail and then more on air as well. This is just a screenshot of our invoices. And this is very important. I mentioned earlier, you give us $150 per person, and we start the confirmation process. However, the airfare, and this is different from like 15 years ago. The contracted airfares, they schedule changes, prices change. Even though your clients have a seat, confirmation that they're on the space, it's not, the prices can change. We try to keep everybody abreast of the price changes. So the price is not guaranteed until it's ticketed. So just something to think about. And then the same thing is true as far as rail. But air is very significant. Small groups. We do small groups. Our small groups are 10 to 16 passengers. There's a prompt on our phones, so you'll get one of our senior staff. The air is only available for passengers 9 or less on one flight. And we do a fair amount, but some products for small groups may require some special pricing requests. As far as our payment policy, I mentioned it earlier, but this is a shot from our invoice, but this includes insurance and stuff. This is the travel agent's invoice, so you can see the fees and commission. But this is where you'll find when the options expire, as well as when the final payment is due, and that's down at the bottom in the total of the invoices, which you can access online, and I'll show you where that's at here in just a minute. Revision fees. Prior to 60 days from departure, there are no revision fees exceptions. Some things do require fees, some specific products, and we'll advise you at that point in time. And sometimes there's additional deposits that are required, like the Galapagos cruises are 30% in order to start the confirmation process. So within 60 days of departure, we do have an additional revision fee. And then, of course, as you get closer in, we have some, change fees and cancellation fees as well. So I want to really cover that pretty quickly. Before final payment, cancellation can be done over the phone. I did mention there are specialty products that need to be done a little bit differently, especially when you get in that 30% deposit range. And then after final payment, cancel requests will be, they need to be either in an email or fax to us. And you can email us at cancelrequests@avantidestinations.com, and there's our fax number. It's also available on our website in the Contact Us region. Air cancellations. We do have an update as far as some of our cancellation policies and air cancellations. Once we get full payment, it's ticketed, then there's a fair amount of change fees or cancellation fees that can happen, and that's dependent on the carrier as well as when it was canceled. Days from departure, prior to full payment, full deposit, and there are, of course, restrictions, as I mentioned before. 30%, 60, so around final payment to 11 days prior to departure, 30% of the gross land total, as well as any other additional fees. There's air or some rail, 10 to 1 days, and then departure no-shows are 100% non-refundable. And then fare type, contract, economy, and premium economy. This has changed as well, so just something to think about there. Things change pretty quickly in the air realm, so we'll try to keep you apprised of everything that happens as we can. Special requests. We do special requests, and we do so. Like, say for instance, your clients wanted to go to a village in Italy, outside of Florence, maybe in Umbria or Tuscany, that their family came from. That's a legitimate thing to want to do when you're there. We can accommodate that with a private driver guide, and take them out there. Maybe there's a winery nearby that they're interested in, and we can, try to do that. So these are basically, wine in the room or a fruit basket or something, or some specialty local foods. These are all things that we can do on request. They're not the off-the-shelf products. And we do it often all over the different destinations that we provide. And so we'll give you an estimated verbal quote before we start processing it. But it is important to note that we don't do special requests until the booking is deposited. Bookings at total, the concierge program, just going right into it. This has been around for a while. Any booking that's over $20,000 in value is part of the concierge program. What we do is we give you, you have email access to the person who booked it. You can interact with them. Certainly, if you come in any challenges or you need immediate changes, you can always give us a call or shoot us an email. And someone from our support services or a reservationist or one of our travel consultants will take care of you. Mention a little bit about travel protection. This is a lot more detail. I think that the key thing to think about is that travel is, things happen, and while we want to have that perfect vacation, there's hurricanes, there's floods, there's hopefully nothing wrong, but sometimes personal things happen that stop us from taking our vacations. Sometimes things happen during we're traveling, and we have to come back home, and that's what travel protection is for. And it's incredibly important to get travel protection for your clients, whether you do it through us or through one of your preferred partners. I just always want to say it's incredibly important. Please try to add it to your clients' itineraries and vacations. It helps everybody out. So just getting quickly into the web, we do have a webinar next week on the website, and so there's also some tutorials available on our website. But everything here is in agent resources. Some of the things you need to sign in order for it to show. But about us, there's some good information there, as well as contacting us. If you're logged in the contact region, you can actually see who your regional sales director is. But these are all the things that you can do. Ordering brochures. We've got the Europe and Central South America, or Asia and Central and South America brochures are out. You can make payments. You can modify a quote. So once it's deposited, it becomes a booking, and then you no longer are able to edit it on our website. But you can save an itinerary if you don't have all the passengers' names. You can get a good estimate, a good quote to send off to your clients, and give them a couple of different options. Even you could do 3 or 4 saved itineraries, and they can have a look at them and see which one that works best for them. And of course, you can view our webinars, our product guides, and our vacation packages. Is the easiest way to start a quote online. You have these vacation packages right here. Click on that. What we have here is itineraries pre-built. These are our recommended vacations. These are either the most popular combinations or they're cultural or foodie or some type of experiential travel in the regional highlights or the recommended vacations. If you want an itinerary, Rome, Florence, and Venice is probably the most popular combination in Italy. So you click on the quick quote there, and it takes a while. It might take a couple of minutes, but it will build out a complete Rome, Florence with connections, with the rail, the whole 9 yards. Build it completely out for you on the arrival date that you want. And so if you say, for instance, you wanted to add Paris to this, you could just click on this add city, and it will bring Paris up, and then you can add the products for Paris. You can move things around by moving city. You could turn this into, Florence, Venice, Rome if you wanted to. You could add Milan or, just a variety of things. But you have a 4-star combination, and it's all there. And all you have to do is just add or change to better meet your client's needs. So it's an easy peasy way to start a quote online. There's lots of things to do on our website. Certainly signing up for our newsletter. Most of you are already signed up, otherwise you wouldn't be here. But just keeping in touch with Avanti and making sure you're abreast of all the news that comes out. That's a great way, the newsletter. You can also do our you can listen into our webinars, and I'll cover that in just a minute. We have a lot of videos. We have a couple of videos for clients who are interested in who Avanti is. We have a consumer version, if you will, for you to share. And then we have a travel agent version as well. And then we have a lot of destination videos too. And then, of course, there's agent testimony. So I mentioned the recorded webinars are here. This is a screenshot from a while ago. So there's a lot more on there, but if you want to get more in depth as far as how to use our website, lots of destination information, lots of product information. And that is Avanti 101 for today. I've got some questions here. So a typical question is, will this be recorded? And it is being recorded even as we speak. There's a couple of good questions here. Let me open this up a bit. So, it's there's a good question here. A lot of people do book us for Italy. We do a lot of really cool things in Italy, food and wine. But as I mentioned, hopefully I highlighted throughout this, we offer that in all our destinations. I mean, you can't get a wine tour in Colombia, but you certainly can get a sake tour in Japan. So these are things that we try to do. There's going up out of Edinburgh, you can go up north in the Speyside and even on a small escorted group and go to the whiskey distilleries up there. So there's, we're always trying to add and give your clients a lot of options for these food and wine. I mean, it is the way that people like to travel, and it is the easiest way to access the culture of any region your clients are traveling to. There's an interesting question. I haven't seen this question before, so I'm going to latch on to this one. What's the minimum price for an Avanti package? So, since we specialize in independent vacations, really there is no minimum price. If you give us a call in the call center, the booking has to be $500 or more in value. On the website, you can just add a couple of tours, and it could be under $500, and we'll do it. Not a problem. So it really is just the price of the product, especially if you're online. Good question here. We do get a fair amount of people who travel together, whether it be couples or friends, 3 or 4 friends, maybe 5 or 6 friends traveling together. And, any time that a booking, whether it be 2 people, 1 person, or, 12 people, once the value of the booking goes over $20,000, it's part of the concierge program. And if the travel consultant didn't reach out to you and say that, here's my contact information, you can shoot us an email, and we'll get you in touch with the travel consultant who booked that. And of course, some people take vacation, and our reservation staff are all able to hop on a concierge booking and help you out. This is a great question as well. On all of our tours, whether they be small group, we do some of the larger group ones. Like you can go down to Bath and Stonehenge on a large bus. We don't do very many of them, but that's an option. And I talked about the semi-privates. We have a lot of semi-private options, most notably in Italy. but we're continually adding more and more of those options on, and those are smaller groups. It's going to be 16 people or less, sometimes 10 to 12, depending on the city. But they always have a guide, and sometimes they will have a driver guide, and sometimes they are guide and driver is the same person. So it can depend, but the guide is always there. Not always, but typically, especially in the private, we will pick them up at the hotel. If you book the hotel through somebody else, or they book the hotel, or the dreaded Airbnb, we just need to know where your clients are at, where they need to be picked up, and we add that information to that private tour. So always guided, and always very personal, knowledgeable. Really, we have a good group of folks who are there locally to help you out wherever your clients travel. This is a good question. The actual question is, do we plan on having a 24-hour service for flight delays? And I think that we do have, when we don't have somebody in office, we have a service that your clients can call. The bigger challenges with airlines is that your clients sometimes are right there, and so sometimes it's easier for them to contact the airline immediately as soon as they get the chance. So it really all depends on what your needs are, but our on-call service should be helping you out with any of that stuff. Oh, this is a wonderful question, and I didn't really talk about that. Thank you so much, Carol. So the question is, is it always just 2 passengers per room and that's it, or 1 passenger? No, we do triples and quads. Certainly there are areas where it's more of a challenge to find triples and quads, but we do our best. So we certainly can look for a property for your clients who do want to all stay in the same room. And we have some apartments as well in London and Paris and Barcelona. It's certainly a challenge to find apartments in Italy, but we're searching. And so these are all things that we take care of day in and day out. We do a lot of triples and quads. Certainly, when you get into the triples and quads category, you're limiting your options, especially like in London. There's not a whole bunch of triples and quads, but we've got some good options there. And there's some good. Italy obviously is a very popular destination. Some great questions with regard to Italy. I'm going to kind of talk a little bit first. There's a question as far as our custom tours are concerned, and I'm thinking that's a special request. And depending on the destination, sometimes we can turn special requests around in 24 hours. Sometimes they take a while because you have to find the guide and that has the expertise in order to provide that service. So these special requests can take a while sometimes, and we can typically a travel consultant can advise you on how long it might take. We really look at providing a turnaround in 72 hours, but that's not always the case, especially for these special requests, because trying to source somebody and finding the price sometimes can be a challenge, especially in the more obscure destinations. In Italy, it can turn around pretty quickly, more often than not, but in parts of other places in Europe, it can take a while sometimes. So there's a good question as far as family friendly. And I think really every destination to a degree is family friendly. We're able to offer options and take kids into considerations. I've been traveling with Avanti and gone on Avanti tours with other folks, and there's a variety of age ranges there. There's a couple of kids. There's 8 and 9-year-old, and they are having a blast. And it was just a walking tour of Florence, and it was one of our semi-private tours. So these are all things to keep in mind. If it's the private tours, certainly, the guides are much more able to interact with the kids and appeal to them. But when you start getting into the larger and larger groups, they don't get that personal interaction, and they don't bring the destination alive as much. It's just more information, especially when you get into those large groups of 30, 40. So it's always something to think about. Is if it's a family of 5, 2 parents and a kid and 3 kids, they'd probably be better off doing a private tour. So I always try to keep that in mind. Destination-wise, there's some good questions here. We're only doing currently Europe, Central South America, and Asia. Certainly, we're looking at other destinations. We did a survey recently out. Some of you probably participated, but there's a lot of destinations, and we'll slowly be looking at them and bringing them on board as we can. So, but currently Australia and New Zealand are not available through Avanti. And then I'm just got a couple of questions here with regard to the minimum requirements. I talked a little bit about it earlier. The minimum requirement in our call center is $500. We do same thing if you have our contract air. It is a monetary value. So $500 for economy, $1,000 for business and first class. So we have to have some land services there in order to do that contract air. Same thing with rail. We have to have land components in order to sell the rail. We don't just do rail only or air only. Other than that, if you just want to add one tour for 3 people and it's less than $500, you can do it online. And I think that I have covered all the questions. If you have anything specific, you can always reach out to us. We can help you out. You can email us at request@Avanti Destinations. Typically, look for give us a 24-hour turnaround time. However, if you need immediate assistance, give us a call. This is our 800 number. There are certain times of the day where it's a challenge to get in. Certainly, our hold times are doing pretty good right now. But if you give us a call in between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Pacific time, or after the lunch is 1:32 to 3-4, those are the best times to give us a call. But also if you're with one of our preferred partners, you can go to the portal there, look at the supplier profile, and we have made some arrangements as far as phone numbers and priority lines and stuff. You might want to check that out and see what you got there. Anyway, something to think about moving in the future. And hopefully you got a lot of good information today, and you can tell your friends and colleagues this is going to be available online. And then we also have another one coming up in November. So thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed Avanti 101, and we'll see you next time. Bye.